sir at the jail, what is your full name, please?
This is Michael Mejia.
All right, Mr. Mejia, it looks like you have a new charge of drug paraphernalia possession and a warrant for your arrest at a justice court for disorderly conduct on May 18th of 2024. For both cases, I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. I'll quash that warrant. In both cases, I will release you. Your next court date in justice courts, January 22nd, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. And you'll get paperwork regarding that date. And then you also had a new charge of shoplifting out of city court from December 13th, 2024. And then you had a drug paraphernalia warrant for your arrest. I'm going to quash those warrants, release you. January 22nd, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. is your next court date in city court, and you'll get copies of your paperwork. Make sure you appear this time. If you do not, more warrants will issue for your arrest. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you.
Good evening, Your Honor. This is the Spanish interpreter.
Hello.
Hi, Your Honor. I do not have any Spanish speakers in tonight's list. Okay, thank you.
At the jail, what is your full name, please?
Eduardo Argila Martinez.
And how do you spell Eduardo?
EDWUARDO.
You speak English?
A little bit.
A Spanish interpreter, can you interpret?
EDWARDO.
All right, Mr. Gajola, you have several charges.
Señor Gagiola, ¿tiene usted algunos cargos?
You have 2 new cases of drug paraphernalia possession and a criminal trespass charge.
Tiene 2 cargos nuevos de objetos para uso de droga y un cargo de allanamiento.
I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty.
Presentaré declaraciones de no culpable.
Then you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cases in warrant status.
Tiene 7 casos en estatus de orden de aprehensión.
These are all cases pending in city court.
Todos estos son casos pendientes en el Tribunal Municipal.
I'm going to quash those warrants, enter pleas of not guilty.
Voy a anular esas órdenes de aprehensión. Presentaré declaraciones de no culpable.
I'm going to set your bond at $1,000.
Voy a ponerle una fianza de $1,000.
Appoint the city public defender's office to represent you.
Le voy a nombrar un abogado de oficio de la ciudad para que lo represente.
Your next court date is going to be in Tucson City Court, December 31st at 1:45 p.m.
Su próxima comparecencia será en el Tribunal Municipal el 31 de diciembre a la 1:45 de la tarde.
Thank you. You're excused.
Gracias, señor. ¿Se puede retirar?
Name, please.
Matthew Stephen Williams.
Mr. Williams, you had a warrant for your arrest for charges out of city court, criminal trespass in a 3rd degree, and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. I'm going to release you, give you a chance to appear on your own in city court, January 28th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. Make sure you appear. If you do not, a warrant will issue for your arrest. You are excused.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Spanish jail, is there any other Spanish-speaking individuals?
No, there's not.
Thank you. Spanish interpreter, you're excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Trey.
What is your full name, please?
Darlene Hassel.
All right, looks like you have new charges of unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. I need to let you know that you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is sitting next to you representing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I'll hear from your attorney. Mr. Goodman?
Your Honor, we're just requesting a $1,000 bond with pretrial services and a smart hearing. And looking at the pretrial services report, there appears to be a petition to revoke probation warrant currently active out of Cochise County for a felony case.
Defense counsel?
Your Honor, given the probation hold from Cochise County, we asked for a nominal bond and a smart court date, and we will not be waiving time on the PH. Thank you so much.
Ms. Hatchell, your bond set $1,000. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your first hearing is called a SMART hearing. It is set for December 30th at 9 a.m. And Defense Counsel, when did you wanted to waive some time on the preliminary hearing?
I do not, Judge. Since she is in custody, we'll take the regular.
Okay, thanks. January 2nd, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. is her preliminary hearing. Ma'am, your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Thank you.
This is yours too. Good luck.
Norton.
What is your full name, please?
Kenneth Bernard Norton.
You are charged with unlawful possession of a drug for sale, unlawful possession of a dangerous drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. I need to let you know that you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutors regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney, Mr. Goodman. And if you could unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, we're recommending $10,000 bond with pretrial services. He's got 4 felony priors, one of which is for essentially identical conduct, Your Honor.
Defense counsel.
Your Honor, Mr. Norton is requesting you to release him to the supervision of pretrial services. He has no failures to appear in the last 2 years. His father was contacted by pretrial and indicated he can provide third-party custody and transport. The allegations do not involve a victim, Judge. The last conviction is from 2020. So we are asking for release to pretrial services. And I believe Mr. Norton also has a stable job. Thank you.
Mr. Norton, your bond set at $10,000. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set January 2nd, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Thank you.
$10,000.
Yes.
Who said $10,000?
Cameron, over.
Well, the judge just did, sir.
That's some bullshit.
Okay.
What is your full name, please?
Cameron Oliver.
Oliver, you're charged with 2 counts of a Class 5 felony domestic violence criminal damage charge. I'm going to enter plea of not guilty. You have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney, Mr. Goodman.
Your Honor, you're able to hear me?
Yes.
The state's recommending $25,000 with pretrial services. He appears to be on felony probation for a firearm-related offense, even though the interim complaint, at least for now, shows a criminal damage. When looking at the totality of the circumstances in the interim complaint, this is more along the lines of very disturbing stalker type behavior.
Defense counsel.
Your Honor, I just checked with the jail and there appears to be no probation hold. I suspect that's because it's after hours. Your Honor, Mr. Oliver did indicate to me that he was performing well on probation. He was checking in with his PO. He does not have any problem coming to court. Your Honor, the state's right. This is a Class 5 felony. We understand more allegations may be forthcoming, but given that this is 1 count of Class 5 criminal damage, we are asking you to consider releasing Mr. Oliver to pretrial. But if you're absolutely not inclined, we ask for a $5,000 bond because he is also, Judge, he seems to be gainfully employed. Thank you.
Mr. Oliver, you're on felony probation, and the interim complaint in this case alleged a couple of acts that were happening. Your bond is $10,000. No contact with the victim involved in this case. Do not call Jayla. Do not talk to her. Do not phone her, text her, social media her. Do not go to where she lives. Possess no firearms or weapons. Commit no further acts of domestic violence. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set January 2nd, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. You also had a city court case, new charges of domestic violence, criminal damage, domestic violence, disorderly conduct. Going to enter pleas of not guilty. I am going to release you on this misdemeanor case. Hold on. And set your next hearing date for December 30th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. And I'll appoint the city public defender's office to represent you, and an attorney from their office will be in contact with you regarding the misdemeanor charge. You are excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is your full name, please?
Charles Andrew Preston.
Are you a junior?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're charged with unlawful possession of a dangerous drug. I'm gonna enter plea of not guilty. I am gotta let you know, you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. The prosecutor's office is okay with your release to the supervision of pretrial services. I will follow that recommendation and release you to their supervision. You must comply with any monitored treatment as directed by pretrial services. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your first hearing is called a SMART hearing. It is set on December 30th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And your preliminary hearing is set January 13th at 1:30 p.m. Make sure.
Judge, can I wait? I'm sorry to jump in, Judge, but can we please waive some time on this one and get a later PH date, please?
When's the later date for a PH?
I believe February 6th, Judge. That's because I did IS in the morning, so February 6th.
February 6th is the PH, February 6th, 2025. All right, thank you all. What is your full name, please?
Maximilian Rodriguez.
Name, please.
Alexander.
You have been arrested and accused of the crime of unlawful possession of a narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I am going to appoint the legal defender's office to represent you. You may be eligible to participate in a diversion program called STEPS that requires you to participate in a plan specific to your needs for a short time. If you choose to participate and complete the program, these felony drug accusations in your arrest report will be permanently dismissed without you ever being formally charged. Are you interested in getting released from jail custody now and learning more about the STEPS program at your next hearing date?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. You must comply with any monitored treatment they recommend. While you're on release status, you are not allowed to drink any alcohol. You're not allowed to take any illegal drugs, and you certainly cannot be in possession of any illegal drugs. The legal defender's office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set. Actually, defense counsel, you're willing to, your first hearing is called a SMART hearing. It's set for December 30th at 9 a.m. Sir, you've got to be in court for this hearing date. It's set for next week. If you're not present, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and there's a real possibility you will not be eligible for that diversion program. Defense counsel, you're waiving time limits for a PH?
Yes, Judge. Although I missed to ask Mr. Goodman if it's a STEPS case, I believe. So there is a specific rule about waiving time on a STEPS case versus a SMART case. So Mr. Goodman, correct me if I'm wrongly extending the
As long as they're released to pretrial services and a SMART hearing is set, typically the PH gets waived so we can screen them. Even though some people don't show steps right away, I screen them and I still offer the contract. So that's why if they're released with a SMART date, the PH typically gets waived out for some time.
Defense counsel?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me, Judge. We'll waive time and we'll take the extended PH date. Thank you.
Preliminary hearing set February 6th at 1:30 p.m. Sir, stay in touch with your attorney, make your hearing date. You also had a misdemeanor case for criminal trespass in a third degree from today's date. I'm gonna enter plea of not guilty, release you. Don't go back to 6572 East Grant Road, unit 150. I will release you. Your next court date is set for January 22nd, 2025 at 9 a.m. in City Court. Make sure you appear. If you do not, a warrant will issue for your arrest. And Ms. Rodriguez, I'm going to do your arraignment on your misdemeanor matter. I want to let you know that you do have a right to remain silent for this criminal trespass charge. You are entitled to represent yourself. You can hire your own attorney to represent you. If at some point the court felt that in the interest of justice, an attorney needed to be appointed, the court could do that for little or no cost. You are entitled to appear at all hearing dates. If you do not appear for any future hearing dates, a warrant could issue for your arrest, and new charges of failing to appear in court can be added to your case. So it's really important that you show up for your hearing dates. Let's say you had a trial in this case, and you had a trial and you were found guilty of the charge, but you did not appear for your sentencing. If 90 days goes by and you don't appear for sentencing, then you will forever waive your right to appeal your case to a higher court. So just make sure you're making your court dates and be in court on January 22nd, 2025 at 9 a.m. Thank you. Woo, good catch. What is your full name, please?
Alejandra Soto.
Ms. Soto, looks like you're charged with unlawful possession, hold on a second, of a dangerous drug, unlawful possession of a narcotic drug. I'm gonna enter pleas of not guilty. I need to let you know that you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm gonna hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. Mr. Goodman?
Your Honor, the state's recommending a minimal bond with a smart hearing and a 10-day PH, just given the amount of misdemeanor warrants she's going to be seen on tonight. It looks like the oldest of which she's been failing to appear on since sometime in 2023.
Thank you. Defense counsel.
Your Honor, Ms. Soto is asking for one last chance on pretrial services release. She avows to the court she will make it to both her smart court dates as well as the city court and justice court dates. Your Honor, additionally, the alleged quantities involved are relatively low. For those reasons, Judge, we're asking for one more chance on pretrial.
Ms. Soto, your bond's at $1,000 plus release of pretrial services. If you're able to post that bond, you must comply with any monitored treatment as directed by pretrial services. If you're able to post that bond, you cannot and shall not drink any alcohol, take any illegal drugs, do not be in possession of any illegal drugs. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your first hearing is called a smart hearing. It's set for December 30th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And your preliminary hearing is set January 2nd, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. You also had some misdemeanor cases in warrant status out of justice court, a case for disorderly conduct and assault from September 11th of 2023, and a charge of criminal damage from August 13th of 2023. Of not guilty, quashed the warrants. Going to release you on those charges January 22nd, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. Is your next court date on your justice court cases. And I'll let them know that you are currently in custody on felony charges. You also had misdemeanor warrants for your arrest on 1, 2, 3, 4 cases involving domestic violence, disorderly conduct charges, domestic violence, criminal trespass, unlawful possession of prescription drug, and a fourth case for criminal trespass. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty to all of those counts. I'm going to quash the warrants and set a bond of $1,000. City Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your next hearing date in city court is going to be December 31st, 2024 at 1:45 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Actually, yeah, that's right. Okay, thank you. What is your full name, please?
Leaf Stroop.
You are charged with a classified felony criminal damage charge. I'm an inner plea of not guilty. Need to let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearings. Mr. Stroop, the state's okay with your release to the supervision of pretrial services. I will follow that recommendation, release you to the supervision of pretrial services. You must comply with any monitored treatment as directed by pretrial services. No contact with the victim involved in this case. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set January 13th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. That's it. Thank you. Everyone's excused.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good night. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy